Welcome to the Radiant Black podcast, your cosmic connection to all things Radiant Black. Whether you're a longtime fan of the Massiveverse or you've just discovered the Radiant Spark, you're in the right place. Each week or month, we dive into the storylines, the characters, the creative teams, and the theories behind Kyle Higgins and Marcelo Costa's genre-bending superhero epic. Today, I'm your host, Bash, and I'm joined by my friends and my fellow hosts, Charlie and Matt. How are you guys doing today?
Man, yeah, it's going good. This is a big one. Always those kind of six increment numbers. Sometimes we get something special. We know all these origin issues, and last time we had Stefano on the book, it was a special time. So going well. Actually, I woke up this morning. For some reason, I thought this book came the week after Rogue Sun, so that caught me off guard. That was a nice little surprise this morning. So yeah, going well. Excited to talk about it and get into this new Radiant Black character. How are you, Matt?
I'm good. Full disclosure for those watching, my sight's pretty messed up right now. I broke my glasses, my main pair, and this is like a backup pair from middle school. So I'm like maybe legally blind right now.
Middle
Like,
school, you still kept those around. Good thing.
Oh my
Good
God.
thing, man.
yeah, I can't find. I had a more recent pair. I have no idea where they are. So like I'm
That's so.
blind.
The worst thing about that, it's going to give you such a raging headache when you go back to the proper prescription.
The worst thing about it is being
there.
blind for a week, dude. They gotta send
Yeah.
the lens. Got to be made in Germany, like it's a ring of power or some shit.
Oh my
So
God.
Damn.
They're going to use CERN to like power that shit.
I know. So I was going around with one lens for a week with like the one good lens that remained in the old pair for a week until they could send it off. And yeah, so I'm going to like a big comedy fest this weekend. I'll be in the crowd like listening to some good comics. So it'll be a fun weekend. So if I look weird in the video and I'm squinting and I have an iPad in front of my face, it's because I can't. It's the only way. So yeah. Anyways, that was a sick intro, Bash. What are you up to?
Thank you. Yeah, just been catching up on the comics recently. I've been behind on a few issues of just like Marvel, DC, and all that other stuff, some indies. Finally caught up to most of them recently. It's been good, but very excited, of course, like you guys said, to get a new issue of Radiant Black. And for those of you who don't know, this is not a spoiler, but I'll just mention it now. This is the end of this arc. So they did mention in the letter page that they're taking a month break and that we'll resume with Radiant Black in September. So there's no nothing basically for the rest of August, or did they say October resuming? But basically soon. So they are on schedule, which is amazing. Thank you to everyone and to Michael especially for just keeping everything on track, and to Kyle and Eduardo and Stefano and Becca and everyone for just keeping the books on time. It really means a lot to us as an audience.
Plus, they got Immortal Batman dropping too, like next.
Oh
month.
yeah.
So
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. I did read that, by the way. I did get to read the first issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Not from Guy. It was from Lunar. So just
yeah,
it was very very amazing issue. Yeah, I'm very hyped. We'll talk about that towards the end. I'm very excited for that. But yeah, let's talk about this issue. So Radiant Black number 36. This is the solo set. So for those of you that didn't know, technically we closed up the arc with last issue. This is technically part of the arc, but it is like more of a standalone issue.
It's like an epilogue or something almost.
Exactly. We're looking at the new Radiant Yellow, which is Nance, aka Nancy D'Agostino. And the solicit of the issue is, at the end of the Catalyst War, the Yellow Radiant disappeared. Time is not a straight line. What a vague and interesting solicit. I bet Joe Clark had something to do with it. It just seems like he's got his fingerprints all over that.
Yeah.
So yeah, superstar artist Stefano Simeone returns to Radiant Black for the long life of Radiant Yellow. That's the title of this issue, The Long Life of Radiant Yellow. So yeah, we've got two writers Kyle Higgins and Joe Clark, artist Stefano Simeone doing literally everything, the art, the colors, everything. Incredible job. Love Stefano. And if you haven't read Midlife by Brian Buccellato and Stefano Simeone, I highly recommend you read that. It's amazing. And look at the back. Maybe you'll see a familiar quote from a familiar face. And a letter Rebecca Carey and editor Michael Basuto. We've got cover A by the incredible Stefano Simeone, cover B, which I believe is the last piece of the Ricardo Ribaldo connecting covers. And then for the next arc, we're getting a Matt Taylor 6-issue connecting cover. And Matt Taylor is the guy that did the esoteric, almost psychedelic ratio from issue 34 that had all those colors. So he's an awesome artist. I can't wait to see each issue in my hands, because they've showed the piece, but they covered the last one's redacted. There's a spoiler. So and then of course we've got the 1 in 25 incentive by Goni Montez. This is the foil Virgin cover with the radiant yellow helmet cover, the long sought after to finish I think the trifecta we've had so far. I don't know. I think we have gotten red. We got red, yellow, pink, and black. Yeah, so now we have all 4 of them with the helmet covers. So we have
We talked about
Do we
this.
just need green now?
I don't know if we've gotten red.
no, we got red. We got red. We got
We
red.
did.
I'm like pretty sure we got red. Yes, I'm pretty sure we got red. I have the cover. I'm pretty sure. I can visualize it too.
I see a pink, a blue. Yeah, I don't
Or
see a red.
maybe I'm thinking Dead Lucky. Dead Lucky got one.
Yeah,
not
I
red.
see. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's pink, blue. Yeah, I don't see red yet.
Okay, so Dead Lucky got one, but not red. That's what I'm
Close.
thinking.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so red's the last one that gets one. Okay, so that's something to keep us.
Hopefully we get one. Yeah, hopefully we get one.
Yeah, I'm sure we will.
I'm
I'm sure we will. Yeah.
That's the covers, and let's talk about the solicit. So, or sorry, not so the synopsis. In a donut shop in Indiana, electrical engineer Wendell George found the Yellow Radiant, a cosmic artifact that let him become the superhero Radiant Yellow. In the robot invasion known as the Catalyst War, Wendell used his ability to see parallel timelines to hold 2 timelines open. One where Nathan Burnett was Radiant Black, and one where Marshall Ward was. Both timelines saw victories and losses, but the timeline where Marshall was Radiant Black saw the destruction of Chicago, leading to the loss of 250,000 lives and the deaths of Radiant Red and Radiant Pink. On the last day of the war, as he was attempting to close off the Marshall timeline, Wendell was hit by the effects of a radiant EMP, separating him from the Yellow Radiant and causing the timelines to begin to collapse in on each other. The Marshal, who was Radiant Black, having absorbed all his timeline's other radiants, stepped in, taking the Yellow Radiant, ending his timeline, and fading out of existence, leaving the Yellow Radiant gone from time. For the Yellow Radiant, time is not a straight line. So we begin in the middle of Whiting, Indiana, 5 months before the last issue, but clearly post-Catalyst War because we have the wreckage from the war, and we see we see a person counting their steps as they're walking around. They clearly look homeless or like they've been struggling recently, and they have a cart full of items that they've been picking up and their belongings. They're dressed in some dirty clothes, but also some very bombastic clothes, like very colorful. And they're walking around with saying a quote apparently from Saint Anthony, which is Tony, or look around, or maybe it's based there, and something's lost and must be found. And at that moment, they find under some donuts and some debris from the aliens and the colossals. They find the Yellow Radiant.
This is actually I kind of just realized this. I didn't realize this before. So yeah, we do pick up in Indiana, and obviously that place is tied to for some reason I thought the donut shop was in Chicago, but apparently the donut shop it is in Indiana.
Yeah, it's next to his
Windows.
Best Buy.
Yeah. So yeah, that's in the Best Buy here. So yeah, this seems to be the donut shop, right? Like so when the Radiant dies, it seems to be born again, kind of where it originally was found, which is a really interesting kind of thing to point out. But yeah, this was cool, and I know we saw the kind of we're gonna get a homeless character getting the Radiant. I loved kind of getting into this character. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't get the idea that she was going to be older, like an older character. So I like to me on the cover, she just looked like kind of middle age maybe. So to me, that was a surprise for me. But yeah, it was a cool place to pick up. But so
she's a surprise 70-year-old for sure. I'm that blind. When they dropped that she was 70 later on, the art was amazing, but yeah, I just didn't pick up on that because I guess the details with what it can pick up right now. I didn't notice.
Yeah, I guess I didn't pick up on that until they mentioned it, not until the start of this issue, but yeah, until they mentioned.
I feel that. Like I like got the impression at first she was in her like 50s because of the gray,
That's fair.
gray,
she
the highlights in her hair. Well, not highlights, but the tones, the gray tones coming in, almost like Reed Richards, right, or like old Earth 2 Superman. Yeah, she has a lot of gray in her hair in the cover. But then when you look at her inside the book, her hair is like all white. So I'm like, okay, no, I think she's older. And then, but I didn't think 70, obviously. But then I saw, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. I see a lot of wrinkles on her face. I will say though, for eagle-eyed viewers, on the first page, there's a missing poster saying missing Reuben Kwan. If you remember, Reuben Kwan is the main character, the hero of the midlife comic book by Brian Buccellato and Stefano Simeone. So another really cute, fun Easter egg there for us midlife fans. And like I said, if you haven't read Midlife, please check it out. It's a fantastic
What is it,
6
6 issues, right?
Yeah, you could get
In
the
and
whole
out.
trade and read the whole thing. Exactly.
You're in and out like a fire rescue, and you get in there. No, it's great. You'll enjoy it. Don't miss out.
This
Yeah.
yeah, and also I wanted to point out real quick. So yeah, we she sees the radiant, we turn the page and we get a big title and it says the long life of radiant yellow. I thought that was pretty funny.
I love
Just
that.
considering
Yeah.
because yeah, her life as we see it wasn't very long. I don't know. Have any of you guys seen Life of Chuck?
No.
No, but I've
It
heard
was
of it.
yeah, it was Mike Flanagan. It was this year and kind of explores some of these subjects of kind of maybe knowing you're about to die and what to do with that information. But yeah, this was super cool. But yeah, a lot of cool side characters. But whenever Stefano comes in, to me, it like he builds kind of like just a whole new tone and vibe to the book that
Oh, yeah.
that really just kind of separates you from the normal series in a good way though.
Yeah.
Which I love. I love always getting him on here, and something about his colors too, like always his colors like really pop, like they always seem very
Yeah.
bright and like a light's actually shining at you. So yeah,
Another
it's
thing,
awesome.
I noticed how this is still in the same arc technically as the arc we've seen with Jaeger and Marshall and stuff. It's kind of funny how we started out early on. Marshall's mom was talking about how Radiant Black is like the Antichrist. And so you have like the Radiance kind of associated with the negative aspect of religion, but now with the St. Anthony, it's almost like a blessing to have this. So I kind of like how there's two different versions of religion intertwining with this. So just wanted to point that out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting. And yeah, to your point, like I always feel like when I'm reading a Stefano like book where he's doing the art and the colors, it feels like almost like a Studio Ghibli movie where it's like it's
There's a
very
warmth to it.
expressive.
Yeah.
It's so expressive. It's so like dynamic, and yeah, there's a warmth to it. Like it almost feels like cozy, like in the
Yeah.
best way. Like yeah, and
Mhm.
but they're so expressive. Like he has such a wide like color palette.
Yeah.
So like you look at that first page and it's like there's a lot of yellows and oranges, but the sky is also very light. And then you go into that like next page in the bar and it's like it gets a lot darker, but it's the contrast is amazing between the outside like pink hues and the inside like the warm
Yeah.
reds and oranges. Yeah, it's amazing work.
I wonder how much influence he had on the writing of this too, because there's like Italian swear words, and like obviously he's Italian, and their main character Nancy here is Italian, and so is her sister. So and there's like Italian swear words here too. This
Yeah.
series might have the most ways to say the F word without actually dropping it. We have the Radiant language. We're doing Italian. I don't know what they were saying in Brazilian a bit ago, but who even knows? Or is Brazilian a
Yeah.
language? Am I just
It's
showing myself as
Portuguese.
an idiot here? Portuguese.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
the
I love like to your point, like the Becca Carey, like even the do like it doesn't look like her usual lettering. It almost
Yeah.
looks like she's adapting the lettering to the style that's being put forth in the book, which is masterful stuff. I love that it blends in seamlessly. Like it still
small
feels like
touches.
Radiant Black. Exactly. It still feels like Radiant Black, but it feels like someone's doing their own a
Yeah.
different take of the issue where which again fits because it's a different character. So yeah, so Mikey, the bar tender, thinks that Nance has got the magic touch because she starts to just somehow know the answers to like the Jeopardy that's on screen, even though
Hmm.
she clearly doesn't know much about what she's talking about in that moment.
And
Somehow
it's the
they're all
Tournament of
correct.
Champions too. It's like a high
Yeah,
level Jeopardy episode. It's not just your average, episode. So that was nice
yeah.
scene.
So I love the moment when she says, where he says, hey Nance, what number am I thinking of? And he's like, you're not thinking of a number, you're thinking of Sharice's ass. And he says, hot damn, magic touch. And then you just see the cake on the next panel. I thought that was like a very funny panel. It's
Yep.
just like,
And then
yeah,
that's when he knew. He started asking all the questions. Oh, the Bear's
yeah,
gonna win. Like that's when
yeah.
he knew. Like, oh, it was true.
Power's
That was it. That
legit.
was it.
But
Yeah,
that's less impressive if you can guess that a man's checking out somebody, somebody in the thing. Like, I don't know. That's less impressive than
Yeah.
Jeopardy. But still, that was a nice little like, oh, of course, boom, okay, I'm sold. Because that's exactly what he was thinking of.
and that's like the first thing Sharice comes to say is like, should I apply to the new computing center? It's like everyone wants to use Nance now that she's got some powers. But I love this. I thought this was very cinematic. Like you guys were talking about the opening with the long life of Ring Yellow. I thought that was cinematic the way it opened, and I really like this blurry, almost glitch in reality where jumps to this like vision, this future probability. But it's like it's literally blurry in the sense that like she can capture a vibe, a feeling, or a crumb of what's going on, but it's blurred. She can't see the rest of the background. She's not fully sure what's happening. She just gets this dreadful feeling. and that's where she drops the drink, and she's like, "Okay, I gotta go. You're not dead. You're not dead." So she almost thinks like
Yeah.
she thought she died for a second. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like it's cool because it could be blurry maybe to us, but it could also be like kind of her denial too, because it does seem in a way like she does fully know she might die from this, but we can't really see the full picture, and we kind of find out later like this whole thing is just kind of to get her to accept that death is kind of an inevitable thing for her. So I thought this was interesting. Like, was it blurry, or like is she just kind of denying it? I think she
But
has
I have a
although it's
theory.
blurry, I
Yeah.
think she has a clear picture at this point what's happening.
Yeah.
Kind of.
My theory is that she doesn't have a clear picture, and that the reason that it's blurry is because she's experiencing, like, basically she's doing the first instance of her powers, and maybe she started to think about death for a moment, and so the power gave her the probability path that would show her, based on her current trend of actions or pattern of actions, what would lead to like that basically that outcome. But I think that the reason that the vision gets clearer and clearer as the issue goes on is because she's pulling on that. If like time is like a different current and each current takes you to a different probability outcome, then she's constantly pulling and tugging on that outcome. Does that make sense? Like she's like rowing herself down the current by
Yeah.
continuously trying not to. You know
The
what I mean?
more
Like,
the more
Yeah.
likely that timeline is, the less fuzzy you can get too. Like there's a lot of
yeah,
time travel stuff. It's
yeah,
complicated. Like with Kyle, the balls on these writers to throw in a
yeah,
radiant that can control time, that is mind melting to talk about, let alone plan. So it's extra impressive when they can weave these kind of issues like we got with
yeah,
the Wendell issue. And this
I also another thing that was cool is someone who's not new of the concept of time, like not a young person, like someone
mm,
who's so old and has been through so much. So and it does seem like I found it interesting. I went back and read a little bit of 18, and you saw like Wendell when he connected with the Radiant, like it shows him his past and it's showing him all this stuff, and you don't see like it doesn't really show her any of her past. It seems like in this, and I'm not sure, is that because she's kind of past that, like there's like she's kind of just so in the present right now and
there's
focusing
also
on
no
the
oh,
robot.
future.
yeah,
There's
you
no
actually
robot.
that's a great point because she does say at one point in the book you have to live in the when she says she wants to say moment, but she gets cut off. So that's a
She
really good
tried to
point.
live in the moment, and then
Yeah,
yeah, she started thinking about
yeah,
the future. Interesting.
exactly. So
So
maybe that's why. That's a good point. Maybe she's just so used to living in the moment, but never like regretting, and that she's, or maybe
yeah,
she's just so past her regrets, like she has so many
but
regrets that she accepted
she
it. You know?
also does like the sister does mention she's always been this kind of person. My brother's the same way. He has like negative worries, like compared to what a lot of people have. He
Yeah.
just kind of like just lives his life, no worries, like consequences aren't really, like it's just it is what it is. And this girl kind of seemed to be the same this whole time, so maybe it's just kind of who you are, and it kind of amplifies, like the Radiant amplifies who you are and kind of how you look at time. I'm not sure.
No,
But
I
yeah,
think you're
it's
right because like even you see, right, she goes to the doctor, and she immediately after getting the vision, and she starts freaking out. That's the first time the costume like puts itself on, right? She thinks she's going crazy, so she goes to the doctor and she's getting tested, right? And then he says like, you know, whatever, and she's like, but, and he's like, great, thanks. And then she's leaving, and she says, hmm, even back at Altamont, folks had time to listen, grumble. And she says, you know, if people cared more about money, or people, and less about money, then maybe. And then she said, hold up, money. So it's almost like she's just literally distracted by what's happening to her always at that very moment. Like she's always in the present. You know what I mean? So it's like
yeah.
immediately she's like, she thinks about money, and she's like, okay, time to go get money. Like it's like that became the next priority for her immediately. Like forget
Yeah,
what she was doing before.
this
Yeah,
was a cool page. This was a like one of the
amazing.
best pages in the book, just showing her the possibilities of what could happen if she were to use these powers for bad. Which I thought was maybe a route Kyle could have went down, like if a criminal, like a homeless person with bad intentions, could have
Yeah.
got the Radiant. I
Guys see
think
the
might
image
still
logo on the
happen
license
later.
plate?
A little tease, but yeah, I think that still might be a chance of happening.
You guys
But
see
yeah,
the image logo on the license plate and on the checks?
yes, yes, that was very cool. And another thing I love is whenever it's talking about the future, or kind of like her words aren't coming out of the present, the bubbles are like wrapped in
Yeah, the yellow, yeah.
like
Yeah.
outlined in yellow, like showing kind of the past or the future, or I guess just the future.
Because that's
But
after
yeah,
she found it using the
this was-
ability or whatever. Found out the answer.
yeah. So yeah, she I guess she does this, goes through all the scenarios of her becoming a super villain and getting this money, and it doesn't go too well for her. And
Yeah.
that's
And
why
it's the fact that all the branches lead to a different death, but the constant being
Yes.
that she's going to die very soon, which is why she
Yes.
thinks she has limited time. Yeah.
I think that's what she saw in the last. I'm not. I was kind of confused here. So she sees herself dying all that time, and then the page cuts where she says, "Huh, now that's interesting." I was wondering maybe she did scenarios of her doing good, and it still just ends up in the same situation at the end. Like no matter what happens, like she's gonna end up dying. Like no matter
Maybe she
what.
saw the
You don't
impact.
think maybe she saw Marshall there, and that's when she decided that she has to write the letter or put more invents.
Interesting. That's a good.
I don't
call.
know what else she could have seen with Marshall. I honestly don't know. That
Another
It's
alternative?
like yeah, because like there's no other impetus. There's no other point in the series where there's a relationship to like the moment and writing that letter. To me, like as far as I can see, that
So
like
what?
that was.
So what do you think she thought here? Like,
I'm thinking she's just going through possibilities about her, but she somehow randomly finds out that Marshall is Radiant Black through the possibilities, and then she's like, okay, that's interesting. Like, how can I? And then she probably pauses it at that moment, but then later on, when she talks to her sister and her sister tells her like, you have limited time, why not make people's life better? She probably thought maybe I should reach out to Marshall at that.
What if Wendell reached out somehow, made a connection to her? Since Wendell's, we don't know where he is.
Yeah,
He could be dead, but like he could also be like trapped in the Radiant, and maybe we said, "Hey, this guy Marshall that I thought was a shithead actually proved himself to me, and this guy's good." Like, right, tell him what's up.
yeah.
Could be.
He also maybe I don't know if she would have known.
maybe
who
she
Marshall
saw
was
the
before,
Radiant
but
Marshall from the other timeline.
That's
Because didn't
true.
he
yeah,
the Radiant
yeah, or
reset? Maybe she saw the rebirth, right?
That's possible.
Yeah.
Another thing.
that could be. I think maybe she saw herself dying already. Maybe so. I don't know if she wants to warn Marshall where the power is going, or she saw the power getting in the wrong hands.
Oh
We'll
yeah,
talk about
that's
that
what-
later, but yeah,
yeah.
I think that power is gonna be put in the wrong hands.
A
That's interesting.
non-Marshall or Wendell option that I think of is maybe she saw like the news stories and everyone's saying nice things about her and like the good that she did and that actually piled up and people realized it and it might be a good message like, hey, maybe I'll die, but I did a bunch of great things. I found a bunch of stuff
Yes.
for people as well.
I think that's what it was. I think that's what it was, but she saw like she could do all these things and she's still gonna end up dying in 2 days. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter if she robs a bunch of banks, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter if she saves the whole world, she's gonna die in 2 days. So she decides to do good with it. Which I like, and it shows it has a lasting
Yeah.
impact on a
Which
lot
I
of
liked
people.
about this. It was a good
Yeah.
message.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah. So that's
You meet
where
the
she.
sister?
Yeah, we see her flashback or flash forward a few months, 3 months, and we see that she's put the money to good use. Part of the money is being used to house herself, and it looks like she has a nice apartment. Part of the money is being used to fund research on her, like clinical research on her to to do like
Yeah.
studies into her body and tests to make sure that there's nothing actually wrong with her because she thinks maybe there's something wrong with her. And that's where we meet her sister, her younger sister, who shows up at her doorstep, basically with the intent of asking for help. And her Nance's first instinct is just to shut the door on her sister's face and almost talk to her from behind the door, which I thought immediately tells you about their relationship and somewhat that they're not on the best terms and they haven't spoken in a while. So that's where she asks her like, "Why are you here?" And then she starts to humor her sister, almost like giving her a chance to answer, right? And they go for the mission. The mission is they want to find the wedding ring of this woman lost so that they could get paid. Yeah, so I found this interesting because I feel like immediately, like as a reader, you get the impression that like the sister wants something, like something from her,
Yeah.
not just like, oh, I care
Yeah,
about
like she hasn't been in her life for so long, and obviously our character's been homeless, and now she just pops up out of nowhere right when she starts kind of seeing success.
Yeah, rarely is it family coming to see you. If like, oh, I just wanted to mend fences. We didn't talk for years. Usually, it's I need XYZ. I've had family members like show up at my dad's work when they were having issues with my cousin, and they like made him a cake. Like they hadn't talked to him for years, but they made my dad a cake for his birthday. Showed up at his work, hadn't seen him in 3 years, and we're basically doing that instead of asking, "Hey, can you help us? We're having issues with our kid." So like family's fucked, and that's not even the Italian side of my family. This is a good representation of an Italian family in the book, because like there is shunning going on. Italians fight a lot. I don't listen. I don't know the Italians I know and I'm related to. We don't break stereotypes. We don't break stereotypes. Anyways, moving on. This was I love the way we use time travel to show their dynamics. Like basically Nancy had like a one-side version of a fight and got every answer about the fight and learned it just using the radiant, which I thought was a nice way to use it.
Yeah, that was fucking that was super cool. Yeah, that was also one of the best parts. Yeah, we get some like smaller uses of her powers too, like they're going, I guess yeah, where are they? Oh yeah, they're on their way to the junkyard and they stop at the dim sum. They stop at the dim sum place and get that guy some treats to let them in past closing time. And I love the way she just explains it. She ran all the probability, like he wasn't hungry for breakfast, like he wouldn't want lunch,
Something
so
sugary.
yeah, no, that was just a fun little touch. But I think what nailed it is really this page, as we kind of flip here to the graveyard, and we see Nance in the graveyard, and we see a bunch of silhouettes of her like just in yellow all over the graveyard looking for this thing. And I think that just shows that like this power is not like directly like showing you, it's
Where
not
it is.
showing her where it is, it's showing the probabilities of places that maybe it could be.
Or even that
So
she just has different timelines, like just doing it, and she might get a hint in one of them, but like she did the time to like look for it. She spent all that effort to find that one ring
yes,
there somehow.
but it's not as simple as like, oh, she's looking in the future so she knows where it is. Like it's I love how they did that. Yeah, what do you think of this page, Bash? Did you have any
I loved it. I like
thoughts on it?
it's just nice how it's a different way to show her power. Like we saw with Wendell,
Yeah.
he liked to do like the boards with the connecting visuals, and then he liked or the connecting strings, and then he liked to do the like he would glitch his body so
Yeah.
you'd see almost like visual glitches, like his body going into like like Doctor Strange in Infinity War.
Yeah.
Whereas like I like to see her here, like Charlie said, like almost go through each
Yeah.
possibility and then like arrive at the right one mentally, and then be like, oh
Yeah,
yeah, here it is.
there's no combat in this issue, and you didn't miss it. They just used Yellow's powers in like all the other cool ways. Like Yellow doesn't need to fight all the time. It's just how using the temporal powers, and this was good. Like the more I think about this issue, the more I loved it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I thought it was a really strong issue, and it's interesting because yeah, like you guys said, the one-sided argument where she basically goes through the possibilities in her head. It was interesting because you get to see it's a really good way to show the history between the two of them over time, and
Yeah.
the gulf that exists between them, because like yeah, like she's an addict, she had trouble a lot, she was a hippie according to her sister, and like was had a much more I guess like idealized take on reality and on life, whereas her sister was like like we had this, what did she say, it's like we had this
Traditional.
job, right?
Yeah.
But like she says, like we had a store, right? Like that was kind of like our future or whatever. Like she said that, like yeah, like uh, they had a store or something in their house, but then when they found,
The catalyst stuff happened, and they had to.
yeah,
And it
Yeah.
turns out her husband's cooking the
Catalyst
books.
recovery loans.
Yeah.
Catalyst
Big Owen
recovery
energy
loans.
from Jonathan here.
yeah, and then she
Big time.
says, yeah, she insults her in Italian, which I thought was funny. But as she's walking away here, she finds the ring. But when she finds the ring, she takes a pause because she notices that the background begins to unblur and that it's the exact background that is from her vision where she dies. And then she stumbles over a piece of trash and is about to fall to her death. She's about to be impaled by some debris. But at that exact moment, her sister reaches out her hand and grabs her and saves her. She says, "I've got you," and pulls her in a hug and says, "You're okay." Her sister Frankie. But that's where they have a heart to heart and realize, like, no, it doesn't matter what she does, that she's going to die, and that like she's accepted the fact that she's going to die, and that there's part of her almost that she's grateful that she has this radiant because she can get some extra time to do something meaningful
Yeah.
with her life,
Even as she's falling, like that shot's so amazing. Like as she's falling with with the cross in the background, like you
Yeah.
see kind of a ghost of her already dead on the ground, like her seeing the future of her falling just like that millisecond later. uh yeah, no, there's some subtle stuff in this that was awesome. Even the little necklace, we get the necklace later, but the necklace she's wearing, that comes up later. That was kind of cool. I had to go back and flip through to
Mhm.
see who was wearing that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The cross is interesting that that's there. I don't know. I can't do the religious breakdown of it, but like this was a good story. It was nice that in that moment where she knew it was the ultimate death, the person that she felt like she couldn't depend on, just wanted to use her, was the one that saved her life in that moment.
I feel like you can
And
make a you can take away like from the cross. You can say it's the faith in her patron, or sorry, in her Saint Anthony. She says
Yeah.
like what once was lost can now be found. Right? Is that what she says? This is the beginning. Wait, let me pull it up. She said something's lost and must be found.
Yeah.
But you can say the issue is a metaphor for her being lost.
Yeah.
At the end, she
Exactly.
finds herself because even at the moment where she's about to die, where she believes that she actually loses her physical self, that's in fact the moment where she finds herself because she creates like a ripple in time indirectly by having
Mhm.
the choice of her sister being a part of that journey, and then her sister chooses to save her life. So you can say like in that moment where she thought she was going to lose herself, she finds herself because she not only finds life by not dying, but she finds purpose in herself by accepting the fact that life is fleeting, and that
Mhm.
she has a limited time on this earth, and that she can use that time to do the best that she can.
What
So
did she
I
call
would
it?
say,
Like bonus time or something like that? There was a term she had for
yeah,
it.
something
Extra
like that. Yeah,
time or yeah, it
yeah,
was a nice little
yeah,
term too.
yeah,
And then
yeah,
that's
no,
again, I
that
like
was great.
where they're just like, yeah, go. Why don't you go enjoy something? Don't you have something you want to look for? Doesn't Saint Anthony have something
yeah.
for you to go
Extra
look
time.
for?
Yeah. So
Yeah, exactly. And that was it was sweet.
It
and then
really it
she says the code again when she's looking at her sister, right? Which proves that what I said is somewhat true. At the end, when her sister says, "Ask Saint Anthony, I bet you two will find something amazing. You've earned some extra time."
Yeah.
And she says, "Tony, Tony, look around." Like, yeah, part of that is she's asking again, but part of it is like she definitely found something.
It's the last
that
thing we
was
see
so
her
good.
saying. It's one of the first things we see her say on the first page. So it's nice little loop
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And back to what Matt was saying too about like the sister not wanting to go to the sister for help, kind of their upbringing. Like it literally goes both ways for both of them. Whereas like she has this quote in the last where like when things got bad, she was the last person I wanted to ask for help. And that's the same way with Nance. Like she was scared, and she was kind of, I don't know, didn't completely want to ask help from her sister, but in the end she was the one who picked her up and saved her. And it
Yep.
was kind of the other way around,
Mhm.
too, kind of the sister finally being able to reconnect with her family and kind of
And get
make peace
Which
with that.
which you can say like part of that is also about faith, right? Because you could say like she lost faith
For
in
sure,
herself and her
for sure.
family, and
yep.
at the end she found
100%.
that faith again in her sister. Like her sister never really lost faith in her, like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then that allowed her to find back her own faith again in some
And they
ways in
both
her
got
family.
closure and stuff, and to see each
Yeah,
other and tell the story and learn that she wasn't just, Nance wasn't just a junkie. She was a person that cared about people. And in her last
exactly.
days, she spent it helping
Yeah.
people in ways that no
And
one
they're
else could.
And that's what
yeah,
this
and they're
page is
talking about
about,
this
right?
impact. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
talking about the
exactly.
impact that
Like you
she's
said,
had.
people will never forget her because even though
Yeah.
she was here for a short time, everyone always knew her 'cause she was kind and she made such a good impression, and that she was just like a person who loved life, right? That's what they said. Loved life.
Yeah.
Was so curious and everything, had this like genuine curiosity. And she said,
Yeah.
but she had that joy, that curiosity about the world and the people in it. Nobody could stay mad at her. Well, except dad. And one day it got so bad, she just split and I had to be the good one. So yeah, so I really like that. And the reason I brought this issue up is that you can see there's some government agents or postal office workers or some sort of cabal forces that are showing up to the her apartment, to Nance's apartment to take the radiant. And you can say they're here. Someone's saying off. You can't see who's saying it, but you can see the speech bubble. It says, "That's it. Wait for containment. Don't touch it. We thought
Yeah.
she wanted a handout, but I gave her the bum's rush." So you can see someone's trying to contain the radiant and control it. And what makes this even more interesting is the next page here. We see that in her apartment, those people are leaving the apartment, and that her sister Frankie's there, giving her a toast and saying goodbye. Then
Mm.
right on her desk, we see something really interesting, and it's a letter. It says, "To Marshall Ward, deliver on." and that's the final panel of the entire book with a little autograph by Stefano and
Yeah.
Tommaso.
That's freaking cool.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, this was a lot. Definitely could connect to what you were saying. Later, Bash, maybe that one moment she saw a possibility of Marshall. I'm super curious. I honestly don't have any theories, big time, but I'm more so curious. Like, are we? And maybe you guys know, like, are we ever seeing this Nance character again? Are we ever going to hear from this Nance character again? Or
We
was
might get a
this just
flashback
a
from meeting someone.
See, that
So
that's a great question. I have no idea because I feel like on the one hand, this was an amazing one shot where there is closure, and if we never saw her again, they did a good enough job. But on the other hand, this is also like a time-based hero. But I feel like the way that this issue is written, I feel like she's dead. Like she's like not coming
I think
back.
so too.
Yeah. So
I think that's the way. And now, do
yeah.
you think we're seeing the sister again?
I think we might see the sister again as a civilian because someone's gonna have to deliver the message to Marshall. But I don't think we'll see her become Radiant
Yes.
Yellow.
Yeah.
I hope not.
No, I think
I
Shift is going to be working with the government to become Radiant
I-
Yellow. That's
Yeah,
called.
what I think is what's gonna happen. So yeah, so the post office. I believe these guys are the post office, or what we think are the new people who took over the post office from
The new
Kieran,
Franklin
obviously.
group. Yeah.
You know, they have new bosses, for sure. And what we do know, I don't want to spoil too much, but I guess like some solicits.
They said Jack Marlowe is the hero,
Yeah,
and
Jack
they
Marlowe.
confirmed
He's this new
recently.
hero. Is
Wait,
he
they
going to
did
become?
confirm that he's the son of Grant Marlowe. That's confirmed.
Oh, cool. Okay,
So this is
so the son-
he's literally related to Cowell, which really leads strong credibility to our theory, which is that maybe Kieran is not necessarily the son of the Grey Raven, but like the post office definitely is some sort of like subsidiary to Cowell.
that
Like
would be
it makes
very
so much sense because like if he left Cowell of official capacity and was like fuck that, I still want to do this work, but I can't have an official office, but I can do it through like taking over this office and kind of doing it under the table. I feel like the postal office is a perfect like cover up for what he's.
And
Interesting.
I think they'll get to a point where they're going to be like, okay, we need one of these Radiant guys on our side, so let's give it to someone we trust. Let's give it to this Jack Marlowe guy. And I think what's interesting is if they give it to anyone, like obviously we know the Yellow Radiant is easily the most unpredictable.
One of the hardest to counter, like to think
Yeah,
about it.
it could be, very definitely the most powerful, but also definitely like it could mess with you the most. Like it's gonna get into your head. Like it could really screw up a lot of people. So I that could be really interesting. I hope we see a villain wield a Radiant. Which I think we're gonna get, but I think that could be very cool.
That would be amazing. And one thing Owen told me, is that he DM'd Joe and asked him if he wrote the script to the spoiler, the PSA for this issue. So if you scan the barcode, there's a PSA.
Yes.
What did you guys think it was going to be when you saw the barcode?
I
got chills.
genuinely had no idea.
Yeah, I can't even guess. That's funny. That's probably the only time you can ever get chills seeing a QR code.
I know. That's serious.
In this book, man. Yeah, no, it's always.
I didn't want to tweet about that, but I had that thought too. This is the only place I get hyped about it. I didn't want to say anything.
So Joe Clark did write that PSA, and it's funny because according to Owen, that means he's the one who came up with Marshall saying Alf probably died in a government facility and it being canon. So that's pretty funny.
That devastated me. That bummed me the fuck out. I was like, good, we're helping, the homeless community, but Jesus. No, I like that we did that. Like, it was nice. It was out of nowhere. It wasn't, I was thinking, are we getting something animated? Because that's what happened last time. But we're full of surprises. We're always innovating here. So having a live action Radiant Black, do some real life superheroism or just heroism, really, of pointing out here's where you can donate to the Chicago, etc. Like, food bank or whatever it was. It was cool.
It looked good, honestly. Like just seeing it, it was like almost like a surprise. We haven't like seen something like that already. But it was very cool to see. And it seems like they're using the helmet that's for sale that people have.
Yeah,
like the Star Child props. I'm not sure.
It was surreal.
Yeah, that was super cool. The voice was amazing. The post work was amazing with the eyes.
Yeah,
I
amazing.
think that's what nailed it. The eyes and the hand gestures I think are easily the hardest part to make it look like he's actually talking naturally. And they really killed it. So I was super happy just to see what they can do with that. And it's just the helmet. They don't need to make a suit yet. Like it's just something civil. We see him wearing civilian clothes with a helmet all the time. So yeah, it was something nice. It was an awesome treat. Yeah, what did you guys think?
It's good.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was a fantastic issue. I gave it a 9 out of 10. I almost gave it a 10, but I feel like it would score higher when I see the fallout of what happens and how much of it is
Yes, I
like.
agree.
But so far, excellent issue. I loved it, and yeah, I mean, one thing that was really interesting to me was, yeah, I mean, fantastic issue. Really covered it. The art was top notch, 10 out of 10. I love Stefano's art. The story is very emotional, very different. And like you guys said, to his credit, to Kyle's credit, and Kyle and Joe and everyone else on the team, it's really strong when you can make people care about this kind of story coming off what is essentially like a battle from the previous issue, because this is, like you guys said, no action for the most part. It's literally just talking, but it's still such a compelling story. I never felt bored reading this issue. I still cared, even though this is the character that was introduced to me for the first time in this issue.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was such an endearing, heartwarming, but also like heartbreaking story. So
Mm.
I felt like it was very impactful, and I really loved it. And I'm like you guys said, I'm very eager to find out what the fallout of Nance's life is.
Yeah.
What's going to come of this? What's going to happen to Frankie? What's going to happen to the Radiant? What's in that letter? What did she see in that vision? Like, even though she's
Yeah.
gone, there's still so much about her that I want to know. So I think that's great writing, and I can't wait to learn more. So yeah, this was amazing. Truly, like, I'm very excited to hear the conversation also around this issue, because I think people are going to have some interesting theories.
Yeah. I think it was really well done. Like Bash said, characters we didn't see before, and now we're invested. Like we're like, what's Lance gonna do? Like we want to see, the extended story. Whether how much we'll get of that, I don't know. But to do that in a time travel story where everything lines up, makes sense, and like a small one-off issue, well, seemingly one-off, pretty masterful. I'd say like 9.2. Like I'm trying to think of where I would improve it, and it's tough. So that's how you know you did something good.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I totally agree. It was damn near perfect. I'd be somewhere around a 9 as well. But yeah, the art, Stefano, he always kills it coming out. I believe he's doing a new series coming up. I saw
yep,
his
right. Ignition
show
Press. I
posted.
forget what it's
Yeah, yeah,
called, but yeah.
yeah. Definitely gonna check that out though. Always gonna check out Stefano's work.
Yeah,
But yeah, did want to mention too I guess
Marshall's.
we maybe should have, but the QR code too. It was it was cool seeing live action Radiant Black. It was also mainly to donate to the Chicago Food Depository, the
Yeah.
Greater Chicago Food Depository. So yeah, there's a link there if you want to put that. And that was a great just way. Like you were so locked in, and then it was like kind of a great way to show you about a great cause. So I thought I thought it was a cool touch, and to do something good for the real world too is always
Yeah,
yeah.
and regardless of where you are, and if you have the funds to donate, you can always volunteer and stuff like that if you want to contribute to help.
100%.
This is one of those issues where, yeah, it seemed like there was definitely a key important thing that Kyle wanted to address, and like he's locked in, right? Like I love that when she's at the well, I didn't love it, but like when she's at and seeing the therapist and like, oh well, you can use this app or whatever. It's like I don't have a phone, Does everything
Yeah,
have to be on her freaking phone? Like, you know what I mean? Like there has to be
yeah,
more ways than like people that are, unhoused, you can't they have less access to a lot of stuff. So when you put it on an expensive like $1,000 piece of technology that you need to pay bills to, use, it
yeah,
doesn't help. So it's just like showing how the system has let people fall through the cracks,
yeah,
highlighting that. I really, it shows care and, and skill. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
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 So before we head out
100%.
here, I was giving you guys just two quick announcements about Radiant Black 37 and Immortal Legend Batman. So let's do Radiant Black 37. Radiant Black 37 is coming out September 10th, so literally in a month and 4 days from today being August 6th. The Solicited series co-creator Marcelo Costa returns for an explosive new arc of Radiant Black. With his latest foe dealt with, Marshall is ready to take his place as Chicago's favorite superhero. But tensions are rising in the city, and the post office may have other plans. I also have seen Kyle and Kyle and Marcelo, I think, teased that this issue is going to be big for Marshall's love life as well.
Yeah,
I'm
in the
very
letter
curious
column
about
too, they
that.
mentioned it.
Oh,
It's gonna
right,
change his love
It's
life
my
forever.
fault. Right. Yeah, there's where I saw it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so yeah, exciting stuff. Awesome cover with the Franklin group, and we're getting Marcelo back on interior art. So for the
Yep.
whole arc, so that's really exciting. Sad to see Eduardo step out for a while, but I'm sure we'll get him back, and I can't
Yeah.
wait to see what other work he's doing elsewhere. So he's been posting a lot of really cool stuff on his socials. So this
Yeah.
comes out September 10. Make sure you pre-ordered it. And for those of you that love the covers, there's like I said, the first of 6 connecting covers, the Matt Taylor Virgin variant. There'll be 5 more Matt Taylor covers that all connect. And then there's the incentive cover, the 1 in 20. So thank you, Team Massiveverse, for reducing the threshold for the ratio. That makes a huge difference. Thank you. And the 120 is the Tony Fleeks Virgin variant that is a homage to Stray Dogs. It's radiant black. Yeah, I feel like that's going to be super hot. So make sure you get those pre-orders in. That's going to be on FOC probably this week or next week.
Can you imagine if said no, like we don't want to mash up our properties after Stray Dogs hit like every horror movie imaginable for their posters? Like no.
Are you kidding me? I would have been like, Kyle, it's time to give Orson some powers.
Yes.
Good,
Yeah.
Stray Dogs crossover or some shit. All right, I just want to see. I love I remember reading like Image Comics back in the day. This title, I forget what it was. I think it's like Shutter or something where
Yeah.
they were like in some apartment and then they had like a little Invincible like Funko or little just toy of Invincible, and they
Nice.
like literally, I was just like, that's so cute. And I kind of hope like maybe one day we could just see Marshall laying on a couch reading Stray Dogs, sitting with Orson or something. That'd be like really funny. You know?
Speaking of Invincible, what I want. Okay, so King of the Hill recently came back, and if you know Invincible like memes and stuff, Bobby is reading a copy of Invincible early on. It's called like Invincible or something else, but it's definitely Invincible, unmistakably. I'm hoping he watches the show, or they show him watching it. Well, it's on Disney Plus, so they probably won't. But a boy can dream. Either way, the new King of the Hill fucks. I had to watch the last 2 episodes through my phone since I'm so blind. So I just like had it on my TV and opened up the camera and just like watched the camera. So vision hacks there. King of the Hill new season is kick ass, by the way. Go watch that.
That's dedication. That's dedication. I love it. Yeah. I'll also want to mention real quick. I actually really enjoyed the Marshall School of Business.
Oh, right. Terminator. Dude, this was
It was
awesome.
just something real quick. And I found this so funny because I was talking about this the other day. I actually know someone with this job.
Really?
Who actually whose job is to just fire people. He works for Honda, so and that's literally his job.
I didn't know that was a thing. I thought that there was people that serve people.
A thing. So I thought this was hilarious. I was literally talking about this last week. But also the art kicks ass too.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, so the writing was by Omar Spahi, and the art was by PJ Katakutan.
The art was cool too. Yeah,
PJ Katakutan. Sorry if I butchered that. The letters by Becky Carey. Yeah, I loved the artwork. It was really cool.
I really
very different. Yeah, I loved it. Like truly, like I thought it was really cool. Like it's very different, but it worked. And I loved seeing Marshall in the leather jacket, like fully pimped up. Like he looks so funny. Like with the hair slicked back and everything. You're terminated. Yeah. Like it's just so
no, it's nice. The School of Business is great. I would love a collection of all the School of Businesses at one point. It would be cool.
Yeah.
But
100%.
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
That'd be a pain to have like everyone credited, all the different writers, but would be cool.
Yeah, that's 100%.
So last but not least, we got one more thing, which is the Marvel Legend Batman. So everyone who's worked on the Massiveverse is coming together to give you this. So we've got the title logo, which is by Kelly McMahon. We've got 2 writers, Kyle Higgins and Matt Groom of Radiant Black and Inferno Gold Red fame, respectively. We've got artist Erica Durso, who kills it doing the visuals. We've got colorist Igor Monti, the legend, the myth, the man himself. And then we've got the letter Becca Carey. And just to top it all up, as if that was not good enough for you already, we've got Dan Mora doing the covers. Dan freaking Mora doing the covers. And we've got Dan Mora doing backup stories in each issue. What can you want more than that? What can you want more than that, guys? What can you want more than that? I've read this issue. I got it sent to me by Lunar. So thank you, DC. Thank you, Lunar. Guys, this is the best Elseworld issue I've read since Deceased #1. Like literally, since like it's been years.
Wow.
It's so good. It's actually incredible. I think this is gonna be a hit. I think it's gonna get people who are really into tokusatsu excited either about Batman or just about Elseworlds or just about the series. It's really good. The visuals are gorgeous. The backup story is awesome. It caught me by surprise in a lot of ways. There's some things that you really don't expect in the story. And yeah, I can't recommend it enough. I've been begging DC. I've been saying like with the return of the Elseworlds line, I'm grateful, but I don't like only having like imprints. So I don't only like doing more deceased. I don't only like doing more like what's the other one? DC versus vampires. I kind of want to see them do new takes on the Elseworlds. That's what I loved about the Elseworlds. That it's not just doing a new imprint, but it's just
Yeah.
doing completely new things. And this is exactly what I want. So
Yep.
I can't recommend this enough. It's $5 for 40 pages of story. Again, you have the main story by the Massiveverse people, and then you have the backup story by Dan Mora, and the covers by Dan Mora.
And this is a big
Guys.
chance to be picked up for something animated too, with such an iconic, like distinct look.
Oh
Like,
yes,
right?
yes,
And
yes.
then if that happens, it'd be one of the most sentimental Batman
This is
movies
the
for me.
Batman Beyond of this generation. Like that's how I
Yeah.
feel about it.
Well,
Like,
Kyle had it in the Insta story when he's sharing the post, and he has the Batman Beyond theme track playing and stuff like that. He knows what he's doing, and I'm excited. I haven't read it yet, but like I cannot wait. It's gonna be lit. It's a killer team. Also, Venomverse versus Spider-Verse by Groom and Kyle kicks ass too. I've been loving that.
It's good to know. I haven't checked that out yet.
Yeah, I like what they did with it. So at first I was like, well, this is a lot of spider characters, and sometimes it's a peeve of mine to see like a lot of different like spider characters when there's like, okay, let's maybe trim it down, but like all of them of like, all right, these are all pretty fucking sweet. Like I can't,
Yeah.
I wouldn't cut any of them.
100%.
So yeah,
and
check that out
so
too.
yeah, FOC for this issue passes the 4th. However, you can still let your shop know that you want one, and they'll likely be able to get it for you. And this is coming out this month, in the month of August 27th. So be on the lookout, guys. I'm telling you, this is a really exciting story. And if you're a fan of Radiant Black, Kyle Higgins, or anything like that, you're really gonna enjoy this.
Yeah.
So yeah, last but not least, we just want to say thank you, of course, to our patrons. We've got the list over here. Thank you so much to our lovely patrons. And since it's only 3 of us, there's no cutoff today. Thank you to Noah M, to Patrick, to Joe J, Jordan C, Eric H, and Cameron L. If you'd like to support us, you could join our Patreon. The link's in the description. We offer a lot of early content. Sometimes we do patron-specific content. Recently, we did a Superman review, which we released for the first week to our patrons. Superman movie review, and then we're doing a Fantastic Four review next week for Steps, where we're doing the same thing, or this week sometime soon. And then we'll also do bonus episodes in the future in general. We're experimenting with putting everything up in general early there. I'm trying to get like the logistics of that set up, because that would be really cool. And we do giveaways, like sometimes specific giveaways for patrons, like we've given away stickers and banners of the podcast. So there's a lot to look forward to. And if you don't want to be part of the Patreon, then the best way you could support us is just to leave a like, leave a comment if it's on YouTube, or just leave a review on your podcast, an honest review on your podcast aggregator. It makes a huge difference for us, and it helps get our show out to the masses and keeps Radiant Black growing, keeps the Radiant Black community growing.
Yeah.
But
also, real quick, I missed out on the Superman review. Just want to say quickly, saw it 3 times, hated it. No, it's fantastic. Also, I love on the cover
Have you
too.
seen Fantastic Four at all, or are you not going to see that?
I probably will soon. Right now, when I can't see, it'd be
Goes
lost on me.
blind. Yeah,
So
probably
I'll
not,
wait,
probably
a
not the
week
best time.
Yeah, but I like that Galactus not being a cloud. That's already like 5 points higher than
that helps.
Real quick, on the cover, I do love that it says "no job, no food," but lots of comics to read. Like that's
it was a great cover.
Yeah,
it was a great cover. Described the whole issue perfectly. Honestly,
Yeah.
just her being torn apart, like helping other people out. Loved it. Yeah, great bonus issue. Kind of added to the whole series. So and I think we're all curious to see what implications it's going to have next. But it was a good one. So next arc should be fun.
Last thing, I think we mentioned this before, but just in case, on a Superman review, but I know not everyone will watch it. They did announce at SDC, at San Diego Comic-Con, the Massiveverse team did announce that Radiant Black will be getting a hardcover volume 2, collecting issues 13 to 24 with a ton of back matter and all that stuff. So rejoice, everybody. We did it. We sold enough copies of the first hardcover to get a second one. And we are going to be making a very short video soon, like a minute or shorter, just to promote our giveaway. I do have a brand new Radiant Black Volume 1 hardcover sealed to give away to anyone in Canada or US. We'll have instructions on how to join the giveaway. It's just our way of saying thank you so much to this community, and hopefully getting new readers, or just giving an existing reader the best way to read this amazing book.
Yeah.
All right. I think that pretty much covers everything. So we'll see you next month, for the start of a new arc where our favorite superhero is going to be challenged by a new usurper. All right, everyone. Take it easy. We'll see you next time. Stay radiant.